Today's story is one that refuses to die, not because of proof, not because science confirmed it, but because decade after decade, people continue describing the same thing. A tall figure, massive wings, glowing red eyes, and the overwhelming feeling that something is watching. Welcome to Mind-Bending Mysteries. My name is Tammy, and everything you're about to hear is based on historical records, witness reports, newspaper articles, interviews, and modern sightings connected to the legend of the Mothman. Now, some events are documented fact, others remain claims and eyewitness testimony that have never been scientifically verified. Any theories discussed tonight are presented as speculation, not established truth, because mystery without discipline becomes misinformation. Now, before we begin, we need to understand what a cryptid actually is. So a cryptid is a creature people claim to have seen, but that science has never officially proven exists. Not necessarily mythology, not necessarily fake. Something that lives in the uncomfortable space between eyewitness testimony and hard evidence. And throughout history, almost every culture has stories like this. Creatures seen briefly, described repeatedly, but never fully captured or explained. And one of the most famous modern examples is the Mothman. Now, the story officially begins in 1966, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. A small town surrounded by rivers, woods, abandoned industrial areas, and quiet roads. The kind of place where darkness feels heavier at night. And on November 15th, 1966, two young couples were driving near an abandoned TNT facility outside of town. Now, the TNT area had originally been used during World War II to store explosives, and after the war, the site sat abandoned. Concrete domes, rusting metal, overgrown roads. Even during the daytime, the place looked eerie. And that night, something was there waiting. The couples later described seeing what they first believed was a man standing near one of the structures. And then they realized it's too large, much too large. They described a dark humanoid figure, roughly 6 to 7 feet tall, broad shoulders, huge folded wings, and eyes. Large glowing red eyes reflecting in the darkness, not blinking, not moving, just staring directly at them. And then the figure moved. And witnesses claim the creature spread its wings and lifted into the air without flapping like a normal bird, almost gliding. Then it followed their car as they sped away. Now, some reports claim they reached speeds over 90 miles per hour, and according to the witnesses, the figure kept pace with them, silent, hovering behind them, close enough to terrify them. The witnesses were badly shaken, and when they reported what they saw, people listened. Because these weren't people known for making up stories, and almost immediately, more reports started coming in. Different witnesses, different nights, different parts of town, but the description remained strangely similar. A tall, dark figure, massive wings, red glowing eyes, and perhaps most interesting of all, a feeling. Many witnesses struggled to explain it properly. It wasn't just fear, not just surprise, but dread. An overwhelming feeling that something about the encounter was deeply wrong. And some witnesses claim the creature appeared almost intelligent, watching them, studying them. Others described hearing strange screeching noises. Some reported electrical interference near the sightings. And then things became even stranger. Because over the next year, Point Pleasant experienced a wave of bizarre reports. Strange lights in the sky, unusual phone disturbances, reports of mysterious men asking questions around town, and animals behaving oddly. Now again, there are grounded explanations for many of these things. Because, fear spreads, rumors grow, people begin connecting unrelated events. That absolutely happens. But then came the event that permanently attached the Mothman legend to American history. December 15th, 1967. The Silver Bridge collapsed during rush hour traffic. 46 people died. Cars plunged into the freezing, Ohio River below. It shocked the nation. And after that disaster, the sightings nearly stopped, almost overnight. And that single detail changed everything. Because now people believed the Mothman wasn't simply a creature, but something people believed was a warning, an omen appearing before tragedy, not causing disasters, but appearing before them. And whether you believe that or not, that idea became deeply connected to the legend. Now here's where the story becomes even more fascinating, because unlike many older legends, the Mothman didn't stay in the past. People still report seeing it, even today. And in recent years, one city has become especially important to modern sightings: Chicago. For reasons nobody fully understands, Chicago has become a hotspot for reports of winged humanoid figures. Beginning around, I would say, 2017, dozens upon dozens of witnesses started coming forward. Many described eerily similar experiences. People reported seeing tall, dark figures perched on rooftops, winged shapes gliding silently between buildings, humanoid figures with glowing eyes standing near bridges, parks, and in industrial areas late at night. And some sightings happened near Lake Michigan, others near the O'Hare Airport. And what makes these modern reports interesting is that many witnesses had never heard detailed Mothman lore before their encounter. Some simply described what they believed they saw. And one witness described a massive winged figure standing upright before suddenly launching into the air. Another claimed the creature flew over their car without making a sound. And several witnesses specifically mentioned the silence. No wing flapping, no bird sounds, just movement. Fast, smooth, almost unnatural. And of course, skeptics point out many possibilities: large birds, drones, shadows distorted by city lighting, misidentification, internet influence, and those explanations may very well account for many sightings. But there's another layer to this story people don't talk about enough: the psychology of shared imagery. Now, why do human beings across decades, across states, across generations, continue describing something so similar? Because even before the internet, people described a tall winged humanoid, red eyes, a feeling of dread, and that consistency is what keeps the legend alive. Not proof, but pattern. And human beings are naturally drawn to patterns, especially frightening ones, because deep down, people want answers. They want certainty. And stories like Mothman survive because they exist in a place where certainty never fully arrives. Maybe every sighting has a logical explanation. Maybe fear, folklore, and suggestion built the legend together over time. Or maybe, every now and then, people really do encounter something they cannot explain, something that disappears before it can be understood. Because mystery without discipline becomes misinformation. And here, we don't just tell stories. We question them, we break them down, and we try to understand what's really going on. Because when you remove all the internet hype, the movies, the headlines, you're left with something simple. Thousands of people, across decades, describing something remarkably similar. And maybe that means nothing. Or maybe the stories survive for generations because every once in a while, someone else sees something in the darkness and realizes they are not the first person to describe it. From my coast to yours, have a wonderful night.